Nearly a third of all women in America use a period tracking app, according to a survey from the Kaiser Family Foundation. And tens of thousands of women are now scrambling to delete them over privacy concerns in the wake of the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. So that's the focus of this week's Wired Wednesday report. We have USA Today Tech Life columnist Jennifer Jolly, who's joining us live with more on what's at stake here. Hey, Jen, a lot of women I know do use these apps, and a lot of us are talking about, hey, what do we do with this now?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Apps that help monitor menstruation and fertility often contain troves of personal data. Popular apps like Flow, Clue, Glow, among many others, help women to know when to expect their periods, track symptoms and flow, maybe manage birth control use, and potentially help with zeroing in on a myriad of other health-related concerns. As you said, every single woman I know, too, uses one, from teens just trying to figure it all out to women maybe starting menopause. So delete your period tracker is all over social media right now, ever since that Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. The biggest concern now is that sensitive data collected by these apps could potentially be used against people in states where abortion might be criminalized.
All right, so my question is, do we delete it? Do we go to the old calendar, marking off the days, keeping track that way? What should we do?
That is not a horrible idea, going all the way back to that old-fashioned way, but it's not necessarily the right thing to just delete that app, for one, simply because deleting an app isn't typically enough to clean up your digital breadcrumbs and text, web searches, location history. That could all be a little more incriminating than that information that somebody might dig up on a period tracker. But no matter what, check the app's privacy policy for details on exactly what steps it takes to protect your data if it shares or sells your information, and how the company responds to government requests. For instance, Apple's Health app, that's a great go-to for iPhone users because its data can't be shared or sold by the simple fact that it's encrypted end to end.
So talking about all these different privacy settings, there's the anonymous mode that some of these apps are talking about. What is that? Can we turn it on? Is it even worth checking out?
Well, this is still very new. It's still happening kind of as we speak here, but one of the most popular of all of these apps, Flow, it's used monthly by nearly 50 million people. They just launched anonymous mode, which gives you the option to remove your personal information from your Flow account. Now, according to the company's data protection officer, this new feature de-identifies data on a deeper level by removing those personal markers, things like your email, your name, any technical identifiers, IP addresses, that sort of thing. So that means that even if the company is subpoenaed to identify someone by name or email, anonymous mode, according to the company, will prevent Flow from being able to connect data to a specific individual. So Flow, according to the company, would not be able to satisfy that kind of request. Those are the things that bigger companies like Google and Yahoo, they're looking into right now, is if we get that subpoena, do we hand over that information? Not a whole lot of those apps, Facebook, Meta, not a lot of them have been able to really tell us that yet. And also one of the biggest apps cleared by the FDA called Natural Cycles, they're apparently working on an anonymous mode right now as well. So everyone's thinking about it. No one's quite sure what to do about it yet.
Yeah, still a lot of questions up in the air, but this just raises the bigger question and concern for a lot of people is just how much of our own information we're putting online. I mean, this is our very personal health information. So what are we looking at with that?
Well, exactly to your point, health apps, except for data shared only between you and your healthcare providers directly, they don't fall under HIPAA protection. So even before this overturning of Roe, menstrual data has been used in government investigations. In 2019, Missouri's state health department admitted to keeping a spreadsheet of Planned Parenthood abortion patients, which included the dates of their last periods. So you have to be really, really careful knowing what data you're putting out there and removing as much of it as you possibly can.
And while we have you here, regardless of it's a period tracking app or whatever you're putting online, are there any easy ways to remove that personal data? Does it actually get deleted if you delete it? That's always my concern.
It is really difficult and incredibly frustrating and time consuming to do it yourself. You have to go step by step, one site by another, and the process can be incredibly onerous. It is amazing to find out what the internet knows about you. I promise you it's more than you think, unless you are deep into the security business. But services like Delete Me, that's my go-to. That's the one I recommend to other people who are trying to remove sensitive data, home addresses, schools their children attend, things like that from the web that will cost you anywhere from $130 on up, but it can really help with that time-consuming task of getting that personal and private information off of the web. No matter what, though, we all need to think more critically of how much of our sensitive information gets captured through our just daily online activities, and we really need to reconsider steps we take, if any, to protect our data. If you're not doing anything right now, it's time to start.
All right, and I'm going to start with checking out this Delete Me app because I haven't heard about this yet. So thank you for that tip. Jennifer Jolly, always a pleasure talking to you on this Wired Wednesday. We'll talk to you later.